Which one of your crochet friends would be happy to receive a jar full of useful crochet items? So now we are going to get the jar and many things to put into it. And at the end of the video, I'm giving you 3 different options for making the top, and one of them is a bit unusual. Since we are talking about gifts, I have changed some of my background here to include many of my Christmas patterns and tutorials. So let's start filling our jar. First of all, of course, you need a jar that you're going to fill. I have 2 here. You can of course buy them in a whole lot of different places, but I found that the best place to get them is in a thrift store or charity shop, because they have the biggest selection of different kinds, because they have a mix of everything. So these are both from a charity shop. This shape and this here really is very pretty. I think it has like floral designs on it, and it poses like this. But for what I'm doing now, I think this one is more suitable. After buying this, I actually decided that I am going to use this for putting in tiny leftover balls of yarn. This will be so nice in the living room like that. So we are going to start filling this now, and we start by looking at how you could pack them, what kind of things you can use for putting little things into. Before putting things into the jar, many of the smaller items you will want to pack them separately. So I'm giving you some ideas what you can do. Because I do a number of crafts, I keep all these little bags that come with whatever. Actually, I have that many of them in all different colors. So I can use some of those for that. And then also all sorts of little boxes and jars like this here. I do quite a lot of bead work as well, so I have all sorts of little containers and things for that. And this pouch like that. This is something self-seal bags. I bought them in some cheap store in Britain because it's 99p. But then you can also use, okay, there's a couple more. This is like this is probably there was a ring in it and another little box. And then also little things like this here. These are like hotel size jam jars. And this is a cute one for tea. So anything like this here will come very handy while packing. So let's see what we could put into the jar. Let's start with something that most crocheters use. Stitch markers. And there's more. And there are different types. Open ones that you can close like pins. And then ones that open with a clip. Can you see that? And then ones that don't open. And these here. And here you can then think of how you will present them. I got these from a Finnish yarn store, and I'll add some more into this here. That one as well. So think of some way of presenting them nicely. I'll put the small ones into this here bag, or you could put one type into one bag and another type into another, like that there, and then those ones in here. So I'm just giving ideas. I might want to have more of these as well. And those ones can stay as they are. Next, I'll add cute little scissors. And then plastic yarn needles. One of these has a round ball at the end, so that would be for something that you really don't want to split the yarn. And then I'll add some of these Susan Bates finishing needles that I have really fallen in love with. I made a video about them a couple of months ago. You can watch that, and they really are great. Then you might want to add crochet hooks. I have a couple here that would fit into a jar. This one is Clover Amour, and this is just whatever. I got a cheap one, but these are very good and sturdy. Then there are all sorts of tape measures that go into like that there, that you can pull them out. So getting one like that would be a good idea. This is getting full. I'll move these. Next I have a couple of row counters. They are this here type, but there are lots of different types that you can get. If the person you are making the jar for uses written patterns, then these tiny post-it notes can be handy for marking the pattern and still getting the markings off. I opened the pack because that way it will look nicer in the jar. Then I would go for a few safety pins that are handy for at many stages of your work, and I'll put them together with this here ribbon. Do you know a great way of getting lengths of ribbon to use for all sorts of little things to tie? Most tops, when they are being sold, have these satin ribbons so that they stay better on hangers. And if you are like me, you do not like those, and I always cut those away as soon as I get home. And actually, I had so many of them collected that for the wedding of one of my daughters, here in Finland you would throw rice at the couple, and you often give the rice to people in tiny pouches. So I used those ribbons that came from old clothes to tie up those bags that were distributed to the guests at my daughter's wedding. Crocheters need to take care of their hands, so we can add little sachets of hand cream if you can get hold of these, or buy little travel size ones. If the person you are making the gift for enjoys some glitter on their crochet, then this gold and silver are great, or some reflective yarn that you can crochet together with some other yarn. These big pins really are for knitting. I knit a lot, but they are handy for crochet as well, for keeping two things together, or if you're trying something on. I find these are better than normal pins. Then beads can be used in many crochet projects. Either you thread them into your yarn or you sew them on afterwards. For someone who enjoys crocheting jewelry, there's these hoops that you can make an earring for, and then just ordinary hooks. I'll put them into this here nice bag. Or also a base for a ring. Here's a crochet ring that I have made. These are also primarily for knitting, but they can also be useful for holding on to stitches in crochet. And then lastly, for someone who enjoys making decorations, you can get these polystyrene shapes with the hanging loop already attached, and then they can use their creativity to finish this off whatever way using yarn. And if you have space in the jar, these cute little tiny balls of cotton yarn would be lovely to add as well. Okay, let's put everything into the jar now. It won't be easy to decide how they go, but I start with the biggest thing. Oh, it only just goes in. Okay, so that will stay there. It won't be hard actually to get it out. And then I'll put the crochet hook so that it's, oh, I actually have to take it out. It won't fit. Here, go in there. Then the other hook. Some of these little pouches along the sides, and the tape measure can go in there. I'm starting to put these little post-it notes in there. I don't think I'm going to put the star in, it won't fit. I really want this cute little jam jar in there, so I'll put the row counters in it. There. And that will go in. And then the hand cream things. Scissors somewhere on the side so they show right away. And I could put one of these things to... Oh, will the stuff still fit? And these. And There. Another one. More of these. I may have to take the yarn ball out if it doesn't fit there. Yeah, I'll take it out for now. And then if it fits, I'll add it. And pins. The ring can just go on its own without being packed. There. This might be hard. It's starting to be quite full now. Let's see if they go in there. Yeah, good. And more stitch markers. And these here. It's certainly going to be full. And one more of these paper things there. So, is that it? So, this is what it looks like. And now we just need the top. I have 3 different suggestions of how you can make the top. First one is that you could use Christmas fabric or other fabric and cut a circle out of that and tie it with a ribbon. I have a large collection of all sorts of Christmas fabrics somewhere, but I moved house about 10 months ago and I have 2 walk-in closets full of all sorts of things, and I was only able to find this one Christmas fabric. So turn the fabric inside out and get a plate that is sort of enough larger than the top of your jar, and then roll around it. I'm going to use these like children's pinking shears to cut it, but you can use ordinary scissors just as well. These don't cut fabric very well, but sufficiently. Here we are. You may remember that a couple of months ago I made a curtain using lots of doilies I had found at the textile recycling center, and I didn't use them all up. So this here is one of them, and I'm going to use this for the jar top. You might find a doily somewhere, or you could simply crochet one. Or you could have a top that has a double purpose. I use these here rubbery things a lot to open jars and bottles. And this idea would also work great as a jar top, so the person could use it for opening their bottles and jars. There are different types of these. This one is for lining drawers, and this here is to keep rugs from being slippy. Both work equally well. Again, use the plate to cut a round piece, and if you prefer, you can crochet around it to create a small border. You can use any kind of ribbon or cord to tie your top, but I decided to crochet my cord using 2 strands of glitter yarn. I'm using my favorite way of making an I-cord, and the tutorial link is in the description. Here's our finished jar. What other ideas would you have to put into a jar that we didn't look at in here? Please tell me in the comments. And also, was there something in here that you wouldn't have thought of? Till next time!